So guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new video, and I've got a very exciting one lined up for you guys today, which also throughout the second half of the video, in these certain topics that I'm going to bring to you, you guys can also get involved in as well. So that should be very exciting, as not often we all get to talk about things together and get involved and cause debates on the channel. So we should be able to do that in the comment section in today's video. So I hope you guys can get involved, and if you did enjoy it guys, please make sure to give it a like. I'd really appreciate that. And also subscribe if you are new, guys. But it's time for the end of season review. And we've got so much going on. We're going to talk about the season that has just gone by. Finishing 8th, bottom of our Champions League group. Losing 4-0 to Crystal Palace. Conceding 2 90th-minute goals to lose the game to Chelsea. But still ending up with an FA Cup win. It's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. So we're going to talk about all of that. And then we're going to go on to Erik ten Hag, who right now, we have no idea whether he's staying or going. By the time the video goes out, we might have a bit of an inkling on whether he's staying or going. And we're going forward with Erik ten Hag. But I'm going to give you guys my thoughts right now, as nobody knows at this moment whether he's staying or going. I'm going to give you my thoughts on whether I think he should stay or go, and my thoughts on how well he did in the season that has just gone by. So we're going to do that. And then also, this is the part you guys can get involved in. And what I'm really excited about, we're going to do a keep or sell on every single player. So going through every single player, and I'm going to give you my opinion on whether I want to keep them or sell them going forward. And then after that, we're going to go through every single player again, and I'm going to mark them out of 10 for their overall performance this season. And that's going to be interesting as well, because that could get quite spicy. That could cause a lot of debates in the comments. So this is where you guys have to come in as well and get your comments in down below when we get to that point in the video. But yeah, guys, let's start off with the season. An 8th place finish, finishing 8th in the Premier League. Bottom of our Champions League group, including Copenhagen and Galatasaray. Getting beat 4-0 by Crystal Palace in one of the worst performances I've seen. Getting beat in the Carabao Cup, but still ending up with an FA Cup win, guys. Like, the season was just an absolute mess. It ended with joy, but, you know, that was short-lived. That's something you have to really enjoy in the moment, like I did. Being there was absolutely amazing. I enjoyed that for the week. And then I reflected back on what has been the worst season ever for Manchester United. Not in a million years did I expect Manchester United to finish 8th for the season. I don't think anyone did. And that's the sickening part, really, because it's just not good enough. It really isn't. When you finished second last season, got a bit close to City, yeah? Not as far as you want to go. And we went backwards this season, but we got close to City there, finishing second. Won the Carabao Cup in Erik ten Hag's first season. You're thinking, what season that was? And we can only progress going forward. And we got worse. I don't get how we did. Yes, you can talk about the injuries. That had a massive effect. But, you know, if you go through some of the Premier League games, like the bottom half of the table, the amount of times we either drew to those teams, bottled leads, lost to those teams, nothing was ever comfortable this season. And when you're struggling to beat the likes of Luton, Burnley, and you're conceding 2 or 3 goals to them, there's serious problems. There really is. And the worst one for me, the one where I really went to myself, do you know what? I don't believe we're going to beat City. I don't believe in these players. It was the Crystal Palace game. And that was the worst of the lot. Because the fans went there expecting to see something. And we just got embarrassed. And that game could have been 5 or 6-0. That's how bad it is. That's how bad the season was. If it wasn't bad enough thinking, oh, how can we finish bottom with a group including Galatasaray and Copenhagen, then you look at the Crystal Palace game. So you can look at multiple factors this season on how bad the season really was. So yeah, I don't know how we ended up finishing 8th, guys, but it's a season to forget, really. If we talk about, I mean, some of the worst moments, we've gone over it. The Palace game, the Chelsea one, I mean, conceding 2 late goals like that to lose the game. You're professionals. It's your job. How are you conceding 2 goals in 5-minute period? You were leading the game. It's about being professional. It's about being able to see out a game. And also, how many times this season have we had the lead in a game and bottled it? You know, that Man City game, that dream we had that became a reality, nearly got taken away by Coventry City. 3-0 in the FA Cup. 3-0. Bottling it. Should have lost in the end. Got saved by VAR in the 120th minute for this close offside call. Yeah, I have no words for that. I had no words for the Coventry game. No words at all. Because that's a disgrace. That is purely just shocking. Coventry City, not even in the playoffs. Didn't even get promoted. 3-0 up is crazy. Any other bad moments, really? I mean, other than the FA Cup win and the FA Cup journey we had, there wasn't really many good moments, was there? You can talk about the Liverpool game, which again was definitely one of our best moments of the season. And in the final, that was it. If we're trying to look at other best moments, it was watching or having the pleasure to watch Kobbie Mainoo all season. Because Kobbie Mainoo has been an absolute superstar this season, and I've enjoyed watching him progress. I've enjoyed watching his journey in this team, because he's been absolutely fantastic. He's shown experienced players like Casemiro up. He's kept Amrabat out the team. A youngster from Manchester United had to be relied on to come into this team under some really poor performances and show himself. How is that right? How are we expecting a youngster like Kobbie Mainoo, although he's done superbly well and exceeded expectations, and again, I absolutely love watching him, and again, he's a player that's going right to the top, not in a million years should he be relied on to come into the team and make a difference and be the one everyone looks up to. No, that shouldn't be happening. And the fact that had to happen shows even more how bad we were. And how like a big of a mess this club is right now. Kwambala relied on to come in and do a job at centre-back. What are we doing? What are we doing? Johnny Evans was showing up defenders this season. Didn't expect him to be good. Like, you can talk about so many things. I mean, the injuries, yeah, having 85 different cases of injuries, like 20 different centre-back pairings at the back, Luke Shaw being out all season, Rashford not being himself, ghosting all season, Casemiro having the biggest downfall, and you have players like Bruno Fernandes carry, Anthony as well, another player. Shocking. Shocking. All these players that we thought was going to have a big impact this season didn't. Below par. Below par. So many of them. The only standouts I can think about this season, Dalot, Garnacho, Mainoo and Bruno. That's it. That's it, literally. That's all. Because Martinez has been injured all season. Varane's been injured a lot as well. We've not been able to play our main team other than 3 games this season. That's how bad this has been. That's how crazy this season has been. And people expect this to go forward and have a good season when this happens. I'm not saying the injuries are all to blame, because there's been certain performances this season where I've heavily questioned Ten Hag. I've heavily questioned these players as well. Because there's been times where a lot of these players have down tools this season. Seen walking on the pitch, seen giving up, not trying, not playing for the badge. And we say this every season. We come into it every end of season review. It's about the players not giving it all. It's about the players not playing for the badge. It's certain management decisions. This is what we talk about, man. We're an absolute mess right now. It's rotten. It's absolutely rotten. And the FA Cup was the only reason I can put a bit of a smile on my face, because beating City like that was so good. But when you reflect on it, which I didn't want to do, but I thought it'd be a great idea to do and a great video to plan, really. But when you look back at it, it was an absolute horror show. Worst season ever. Like, genuinely, I don't know how it was that bad. Nobody expected it. Everyone had Manchester United up there this season. But yeah, 8th place finish, out of the Carabao Cup, but winning the FA Cup. You couldn't write it. And still, Erik ten Hag is ending up with 2 trophies in 2 years. More than Arteta. So, you know, you have to look at it in a lot like perspective, really, and as a collective. Because it's not just on one certain player. It's not just on the manager. It's not just on how the club's being run. It's not just on the transfers. It's all together. And that's how it's always been. I've never looked at it differently. I've never looked at it thinking, I'm going to blame that player. I never looked at it thinking, oh, that player was solely to blame, or the manager every single game put on a shit show, or it's the board again. I'm not looking at it like that, because you can't. It's unfair to do that. It's as a collective, and everyone has a part to blame this season on why we were so bad. Why the performances were below par. Why we never really got to see the proper style we want to see. The formation, the philosophy, the players. It's everything, guys. I tell you now, it's everything. But yeah, guys, we talk about... I don't want to talk about it anymore of the season, guys. I really, really don't, because, you know, let's just say this. Best moment of the season, the FA Cup win, and Kobbie Mainoo. Watching him all season. The worst, Palace game. That was the one which got me angry the most. The Palace game was the worst, and the Champions League run. I mean, finishing bottom of that group, you tell me. Do I have to say more? 3-2 to Galatasaray. We lost 4-3 to Copenhagen. I mean, put us bottom after that. Put us bottom. 15 goals conceded in that group. Not even getting out of the Champions League group. You know, they should have a massive punishment for that. Because that's sickening. It is sickening. And it was sickening. And to be honest, Andre Onana played a massive part in us being out. With the amount of mistakes he made throughout the whole, 3 or 4 first games of the Champions League group. So yeah, it is what it is, guys. But, you know, let's talk about Erik ten Hag now, because that's the main topic at the moment, the hot topic on everyone's minds. You know, there's so many rumours going about that Ineos are talking to managers, agents about a potential move. Graham Potter, Thomas Frank, managers like Pochettino, managers like that coming into Manchester United and having their window and starting a fresh season next year. But for me personally, I'll say this now, I don't think Ten Hag should go. And I'm with the majority of fans, I think, in saying that, because I went to the FA Cup final, and I can tell you this now, I was there watching it live. Every single fan is behind Erik ten Hag. Every single fan is behind him, because he deserves to go forward next season, considering the circumstances, the amount of injuries. But he's won 2 trophies in 2 years. Pochettino, Graham Potter, Thomas Frank, they are not doing that. Come and prove me wrong, but they're not doing that. I can tell you that now, because Erik ten Hag is a manager that wins trophies. And you saw in that final game what Erik ten Hag can do with a fully functional team. We outclassed one of the best teams, if not the best team in the world. We made it look easy at points. We won it comfortably. It wasn't a fluke. And that was down to Erik ten Hag and the way we set up. Making big decisions like playing Amrabat, dropping Højlund, playing Bruno Fernandes in that false 9 position to be more compact, not to allow any space. Erik ten Hag won that game for us. He gave us the FA Cup, but the players also played for him. And that's also something I want to say. Those players gave everything for Erik ten Hag in the FA Cup final. And we got rewarded. And you can see they want him to stay. We want him to stay. And Ineos have a massive, massive decision to make. And they have to get it right. On this occasion, they have to listen to the fans. And they have to keep Ten Hag. Because what's the point in signing him last year, letting him have that season, and not letting him progress with his team? It's a process. You have to give him time. You have to get... I get it, the signings, Anthony, not good enough. Mason Mount, not good enough. Amrabat, at the end of the day, not good enough. I get that. But maybe with new people in charge now, you know, people at the top having more control over transfers, maybe Erik ten Hag can just focus on himself now, not having to focus on what players he wants. Maybe he can just focus on a more style-based game, and he can really get a good team going now. That's what I believe. And I think the fans believe as well that can happen if we keep Ten Hag. Maybe him having control of transfers was just a bad idea. And maybe it's something that Ten Hag needs to look at and think, you know what? Maybe that didn't really go to plan. Maybe I need to try and focus more on the style of play, the philosophy, the formation, and getting this team playing good football, which fans want to see. And maybe then we can go forward. But yeah, for me, we have to keep him. I just don't think you can sack a manager. I mean, we did it to Van Gaal, but you cannot sack a manager that fans want to back and fans want to manage the club off winning 2 trophies in 2 years. I know it was our worst season ever, but there was reasons because of that. If we had a fully fit team all season, we don't finish 8th, guys. I can tell you that now. But yeah, I'll definitely keep him, guys. But also get involved in this part as well, guys. Erik ten Hag in, Erik ten Hag out. Let me know down below. Be really interested to see what you guys are saying. But yeah, I'm not saying Ten Hag isn't to blame, because I've heavily criticised him this season at points. You can see in the videos, I've been angry, I've been frustrated this season. We've all been mad. We've all been pissed off at times. but it's the right thing to do to stick with a manager. Because when we've had a full team, a fully functional team, Erik ten Hag has shown us what he can do. And the FA Cup final was an obvious watch for that. How good were we in that game? It's just something to look at, really. But Ineos have a massive decision to make going forward, guys. But now, let's go on, guys, to the part where you guys can get involved. And we're going to do a keep or sell. So I'm really interested about doing this. So let's get into it, guys. So goalkeeper, Altay Bayındır. It's a keep situation. I don't mind having him as a backup. Haven't really seen him other than the Wigan game in the Cup. But yeah, maybe he should have got a few more chances, considering what happened with, AFCON and Onana being late, etc. So I think maybe we could have started a few more games. So I'd keep him. Same with Tom Heaton. Third keeper, experienced. Can do a job. He's a decent keeper, isn't he? So I'd keep him. And Andre Onana. I think a few people may be mixed. But one thing you have to realise is we're not going to get rid of Onana. We're not in for another keeper. And he's here for a very long time. So I'm keeping him. Although, of course, the mistakes have not been good enough. They've been poor mistakes, rookie mistakes that you can't make at this level. But he's learned from that. And in the second half of the season, he's done well. So I'm going to say keep Andre Onana. And we move on to a defender. So Victor Lindelof, I think he should have gone before Varane. He should have been the one that went and Varane should have stayed. You know, Varane's experience, just how good he is in general, can still play at a top level. I mean, obviously, we know why he went, because he wasn't getting the contract he wanted, and that's fair enough. I think he deserves a good contract. If you're not giving it to him, like a player like Varane, he's going to end up leaving, isn't he? So I get that. But yeah, Lindelof, I think he's a player which I would keep now, just because he's always consistent. He's quite a good player when he plays. And again, he's someone who we can rely on. He's never really injured, you know, does his part, doesn't really care about starting the games. So I'd keep him, to be honest. Harry Maguire, I'd sell him now. We should have sold him in January in the window to West Ham. I mean, he had a really good season, but for me, I think he's a player which needs to go now because he's been here way too long. We're in for a new centre-back alongside Martinez. So for me, Harry Maguire's got to go. He's got to go this summer. It has to be this summer that he moves on now. But I do hope he does well. Martinez is an obvious keep situation, really. We know how good he is. Malacia, to be honest, I've not seen him all season. I mean, we saw him in the FA Cup final, didn't we, on the trophy presentation. But Malacia, I've not seen him. He's not played, really. A backup left-back, yes, I would keep him because we have nobody else, really. Brandon Williams is gone as well, so I'd keep him. I don't think he'll be going anywhere. So yeah, I'd definitely keep Malacia. And then we move on to the likes of Rafael Varane. Obviously, he's gone now, so won't say anything about him. Diego Dalot is an obvious keep. Luke Shaw's an obvious keep. And Wan-Bissaka, bit of a tricky one here, but I think he's going to go. And I would sell him. I would be in the minority of selling him, I think. Maybe majority. I'm not too sure how fans are feeling. You have to let me know down below. But for me, I think Wan-Bissaka is definitely going to end up leaving this summer because Dalot's our main right back. Wan-Bissaka is not a player that wants to sit on the bench and not play the games. I don't think he's that type of player. So, yeah, I'll definitely let him go. I'll sell him and get some money for him if we can. Sell him maybe to Turkey or someone like that where maybe we can get some more money for him. Williams is gone. Johnny Evans, I mean, he should be retired now, but if he is going to stay, then I'll keep him. I would keep him. He's done really well for himself this season, to be fair. Nobody expected it. Old Johnny Evans coming back to Manchester United. What are we doing as a club? But it's worked out. And sometimes you just have to hold it and say, do you know what? I was proved wrong. He's been really good. See, I'd keep him if we have to. But again, in a real reality world, he needs to go. But again, he's probably not because we know how Manchester United do things. But yeah, I'd keep him. He's done a good job. Kambwala is an obvious keep. Sofian Amrabat. You know what? I was debating about this the other day. I was thinking, do we take it permanently for 20 million based off the FA Cup win and hope he improves and stays at that level? Because he was absolutely brilliant in the FA Cup final. Like one of the best players. Bodied the likes of De Bruyne. Physically dominant. Dominated the midfield with Mainu. Did really, really well. But it's just about whether we can stay consistent. Because there's been games this season where, to be honest, for him, he's been playing out of position. So we've not really seen the best of him too much this season. In the last couple of games, where he was playing in his best position, he was quite good other than one. But yeah, I would keep him. permanently go for him, take him for 20 million from Fiorentina, I would. It's a good backup to have. If you're playing him in the right position, he's going to be good for you. And then Mason Mount is going to keep. He's not going to leave. He just signed for us. Had a really, really average, poor first season here with a lot of injuries. But you can only hope he improves. Bruno Fernandes, I want to keep. Rumours of him potentially leaving. And I think that will be down to whether Ineos keep Erik ten Hag. That's my gut feeling here. If they keep Erik ten Hag, Bruno stays. Because I think Bruno knows that if we sack Ten Hag, it's back to square one. Back to square one. And we're going to have to wait 3 or 4 years to start competing again and back to the top. And Bruno wants to be in a team that wants to compete right now. Wants to go for trophies right now. And I don't think that will happen if Ten Hag leaves. So, it is what it is, but I'll definitely keep him. One of our best players on the pitch. The final performance, wow. And that pass was exceptional. He's been really good this season. Eriksen as a player, I would sell. I would sell Christian Eriksen now. I didn't get really signing him in the first place from Erik ten Hag. Again, another signing which has not really worked out. And he's screaming Saudi. He's screaming Saudi. He's screaming MLS. Doesn't have the legs anymore and definitely cannot start in this Manchester United team. Whether he can play a few cup games, I don't think he wants to do that. There's been rumours that Eriksen as well has spoken to Ten Hag. He wants reassurance that he's going to start, which he just isn't. So I would sell him. Amad Diallo is a player I'd definitely keep if he gets reassurance that he's going to play. Because I do think there's a very, very good player there. Whether we have to see that somewhere else, we'll have to wait and see. Because in this Manchester United team, Anthony may be trusted more than Diallo. Just because it's Erik ten Hag's favourite player. Or one of his favourite players. So, I mean, if he gets reassurance that he's going to be playing like every other game or coming off the bench every game, starting now and then, I'd keep him. I think he's a wonderful talent. A really good player. And he's shown that off the bench a few times this season where he's been given the opportunity. So, Amad Diallo, for me, I'm going to give us... I'd definitely... Keep him, I would. Casemiro, I'd sell. It's an easy one. Saudi, MLS. The downfall's been crazy. It's time for him to go now. Palestri's on loan still. Donny van der Beek's going to go back on loan again, probably, or permanently now. Kobbie Mainoo is an obvious one. Every time I hear that name, I just got a smile on my face. So yeah, I'm going to say keep. Obviously. McTominay again, similar to Maguire. Should have gone in January. Can't play in this Manchester United team. As a squad player, maybe, but he's just not good enough. Really is not good enough. He can do a job in a team like a Brighton, a Brentford, someone like that. He can play every game. He'll be good in those type of teams, but not this Manchester United team. And he should have been gone in the January window, or even before that. Last summer, he should have went, but yeah, he needs to go. Hannibal's gone, and he's probably going to go again, or make a permanent move. And Omari Forson is also gone as well, as we heard yesterday or the day before that from Fabrizio. Martial, of course, is leaving. Rashford, Jesus. Keep or sell Marcus Rashford. Maybe the hardest one yet. Because you can make points on why he should stay. And there's also valid points on why he should leave. Obviously, the season he's had, he was expected to have a big season. He was expected to improve. But his goals and assists, nowhere near the levels they should be. His performances, his attitude has been shocking. Tweeting out, partying, etc. Coming for fans. Like, no. What are you doing, mate? It's time for him to go. I don't think he's respected by the fans anymore. And it's his own fault in a way. It's similar to Sancho. Not as bad as that situation. But you can tell Marcus Rashford loves the club. The tears in his eyes at Wembley. But again, you have to show it on the pitch. And he's meant to represent this club. He's meant to be one of the stars in this team. And he's not been that. He's not been that. As harsh as it is, he's not been that. I don't think he has a place in this team. Of course, Erik ten Hag loves the guy. But if you're a fan and you want to go forward and you want to have an exciting team, Marcus Rashford can't be a part of that. He can't be. In my opinion. This may cause a bit of debate. I might be in the minority or the majority. I'm not too sure. But I think he needs to go. If a good offer comes in, I'll say this. If a good offer comes in above 60 million or even 55 for Marcus Rashford, take the money. Take the money because he doesn't seem interested anymore. See, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say sell, but only if the right offer comes in for him. Højlund, keep. Garnacho, keep. Antony's going to be staying, so I'd keep him. I mean, no, I wouldn't, would I? I would not. I wouldn't, based on those performances in season so far. really bad for the amount of money we paid for him. Arguably up there with our worst business we've ever done, like ever done. And we've done some bad bits of business. But that might top it. That might top it. He's an absolute meme. He's a joke at the moment. I don't see it getting better. Like, there's no faith in me that next season we're going to see the real Antony. There's none of that. Shocking. Jadon's going to go out back to Dortmund. Scholler, I'm not too sure. I'd probably let him go on loan or something, really. And then Greenwood, obviously, don't know what's going to happen with him yet, but probably will end up moving to a better La Liga side like Atletico Madrid or someone like Lazio in the Serie A. Someone like that, really, I reckon. So yeah, guys, that's all for the keep or sell. Let me know your thoughts down below. The intriguing ones, Rashford, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire. Let me know, guys, them three, if you'd keep or sell. Because I think the rest we're all going to be agreeing on and we're all going to be in the majority for. But yeah, those three, guys, can cause real debates in the comments down below. But yeah, those are my opinions on that, guys. And now, let's give out marks out of 10 for these players' overall performance in the season that has just gone by. This is going to be good. Bayern Deer, I'm not going to give... and let's just say this. I'm not going to give any player a rating unless they played more than 5 games this season. That's fair. That's fair, I think. So Bayern Deer, can't. Tom Heaton, obviously can't. Andre Onana. Again, get in the comments, guys. Get in the comments. For a first season, so much expectation, so much hype, a lot of money. Hasn't lived up to expectations. Way too many mistakes. But redeemed himself in the second half of the season, I think. So for that, I'm going to give him a 5.5. It would have been a 5 or a 4.5. But the second half of the season, he's done himself well. He's made some really, really good saves. There's still mistakes in him. Big mistakes in his game. There can be next season as well. But I think, hopefully, he's getting better. He's letting those mistakes go now. There's not as many. And hopefully, he can kick on now and have a really, really good season next year. That's what I'm hoping. But for this season, or the current season I've just gone by, I'm going to give him a 5.5 out of 10. I think that's fair. Lindelof, I mean, he's played more than 5 games this season, but he's mainly come off the bench, really, hasn't he? He's played a couple of games, but he's come off the bench more. And when he has done, I'm going to give him a 4. Done a good job. Hasn't really, excited anyone. It's not really shone. But yeah, he's done a job when he's been called upon, and that's Lindelof for you. So I'm going to give him a 4. Maguire, for his overall season, I'm going to give Maguire a solid 6. And I think that's fair, because I think he's had a really, really good season. And credit to him as well, because the criticism and the stick that he's got from fans for a very, very long time, certain players would have given up on themselves. Certain players would have looked at that and think, do you know what? I can't be asked for this anymore. I'm gone. Let me get another move. Let me move somewhere else. Let me stop playing for a while. Let me go home or something. But Maguire's risen. He's risen to that, and he's put in good performance after good performance after good performance. And I praise him for that, because he's been very, very good on what may be his last season. And I think he's gained the respect back from fans because of his attitude. And that's a massive credit to him. So Maguire, I'm going to give him a 6. I think he's done well. Martinez is tricky, because he's been injured all season, but he doesn't play a bad game. He does not play a bad game. I'm going to give Martinez, for what he has played, I think it's fair to give him a 5.5. No, 6. Matching with Maguire, because he has played really, really well when he has played. So yeah, I'm going to give him that. I'm going to give him a... Is it fair to give him... I'm not too sure, guys. Is it fair to give him a 6 or 5.5? I'll let you guys decide that down below, because I don't know what it is, really. He's not played too many games, though. That's the only problem. But he has been good. I'll let you guys decide down below. 5.5 or 6. But last year's not played. He's been injured. Varane, I'm going to give Rafael Varane a solid 6.8. 6.8. He's done really well for himself. I know he's leaving, but he's a player which Manchester United could always rely on. He's a very good leader at the back. A very, very good leader. And losing Martinez would have hurt him, because the relationship those two have is special, and they've been really good together. The first season was amazing, watching them play together week in, week out. Obviously, with both being injured at different times this season, it's been really tricky for both of them to come back in, play alongside different centre-backs. It's been difficult, and you have to take that into consideration. So for me, I'm going to give around a 6.8. Dalot, I'm going to give Dalot an 8.9 out of 10. I think Dalot has been absolutely amazing. And I say it in every video, he's always one of our consistent players. And I did not expect him to improve as much as he has done. And that's what impressed me the most. Yes, defensively, there's still things he can work on. I mean, he's lost a few players at the back post now and then. But he always fights for the club. His passion is unmatched. Going forward is always an option. And one thing that we haven't been able to say about these players this season, or a lot of these players, is he's been super consistent. He scores goals, he gets assists. Again, he's crucial in his tackling as well. He's done really well for himself, really, really well. And he's up there for my player of the season, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys as well, but I think I'm definitely in the majority for that vote, considering the performances this season. But yeah, Dalot for me has done himself really, really well. So I'm going to say 8.9 for Dalot. Luke Shaw's not really played. If we were going to vote him on his performances, I'd say it's a 4 as well, because he's not played. Wan-Bissaka is someone which I think he's let down some people this season. He's let down a lot of the fans. He's not really been himself. I don't know why that is. The FA Cup game, he was amazing. But that's the only game I can come out and say Wan-Bissaka played well in. And that's a concern for me. And that's why I do think he should go now. Go somewhere else, because maybe he's just not at the standard to play for Manchester United right now. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why he's really like... What's the word? Being below par. Being below par, so I was looking for. Yeah, I don't know why he has been like that. Because he's a player which I know he's very good. He's a player which I know can play to a very, very good level, week in, week out. But also this season, his tackling's been off at points. Making reckless decisions. Like, it's been a bit off and on with him. So I'm going to say, I think a 4.8 is fair for Wan-Bissaka. Actually, no, 5. 5, yeah, we'll go 5, because it's been a bit of a mix and match bag with him. Williams hasn't played. Jonny Evans, I'm going to give a solid 6 as well. He's done well for himself. I said it earlier on. To play in this Manchester United team, with people saying, what are you doing here? People saying you should be retired, etc. He stood up to that. Other than the Crystal Palace game where he was bad, he stood up to that. And he's been one of our best centre-backs. Not our best centre-back, of course, but he's been up there. And he's come off the bench, he's started games, and he's put in performances. I've been impressed with him. I don't know why he's been as good as he is, or has been, but he's done well for himself, guys, and that's all I can say for him. And I hope he does. I mean, if he does stay, I hope he continues to improve like that and have these good games. But he's definitely a player which we should be looking to axe, really. But yeah, Jonny Evans for me, I'm going to give him a 6. No, 5. Why am I saying 6? 5 for Jonny Evans. No, did I say 6? Yeah, we'll give him a 6. What am I saying 5 for? That's below average. Campoala, I'm gonna give him a solid 6 as well. I think he's done well for himself. I mean, for these players, these youngsters, to come in, have the pressure on them to perform and be the standouts, and doing as well as they have done, they deserve the credit. They deserve to be shouted at. They deserve to have all the praise that they're getting, even at a young age. Because they come into a team which has been messed around this season, and they're expected to perform, and they're doing it. I mean, Campoala had one stinky game, and that was the Brentford game, I think. Was it Brentford? Yeah, the Brentford away from home game. That was bad. Was it Brentford? No, Bournemouth. It was Bournemouth, wasn't it? Yeah, the Bournemouth game was a bad one. But other than that, the Liverpool game he played really well in, and you can see the fan support for him as well. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 6 as well. I think he's done well for himself when he has played. Or come off the bench, really. And he has done that for quite a few games in the second half of the season. Midfielders, Sofyan Amrabat. Poor. Been poor other than the final games of the season. But overall, as a collective for the season, it's not been good enough. He's been played out of position, which doesn't help him. But a player which, quite high potential, was expected to hit the ground running with Manchester United. He hasn't done that. Whether he can do that next season if we buy him, we'll have to wait and see. But Sofyan Amrabat for me, I think a 4.5 is fair for him. Mason Mount, probably a 3. Very injury prone. been injured more times than he's played this season, but when he has played, he's been poor. He's been poor yet again. Another player we've signed that has been shocking and just not performed to any sort of level or decent level which we need at Manchester United. So Mount for me gets a 3. Bruno Fernandes. Now I think this may be a bit tricky as well, and I think a lot of you guys are going to give maybe different ratings because a lot of people don't like Bruno Fernandes. I've always said it, and I'll say it again right now. He does not get the appreciation he deserves. He's world class, and he goes into any team in the world. He does. He's just that good. He's genuinely unreal as a player. The final showed that, and every time Bruno Fernandes has played in this Manchester United team, he makes the team better. And if you watch the games when he's not playing, we look worse, and we have no idea. And that's a real captain. A captain which everyone follows, a captain which everyone improves their performances on. Bruno Fernandes is that guy. And it goes without saying that we should keep him. He should be a big player for us next season, really important. Lead the line again. So yeah, Bruno Fernandes for me, I'm going to give him a solid 8.8, just behind Dalot. Really, really good this season. Eriksen, again, I think he's been shocking. I'm going to give him a 4. Been really bad. Really bad this season. And as I mentioned, he has to go. He's played maybe 1 or 2 good games, but in a midfield where you need to run back, run forward, be an option, do all the dirty work, play 3 or 4 different positions. He can't do it. He can't do it. It's a shame. I wanted it to work out for him, and last year he wasn't too bad. But this year, he's got to go. He's not been good. Amad Diallo, based on what he's played, I'm going to give him a 6. I thought he's done really, really well for himself. I mean, all were calling for him to get more chances, and then more chances again, calling for him to play again, game after game after game. And finally, he started playing games. Finally, he started coming off the bench instead of Anthony or instead of Pellistri or someone like that. And he showed his potential. He showed how good he is. I mean, the Liverpool game, that final goal is so special for him. And again, was just a big, big moment for the fans. And when he has played, he showed that he's 10 times a player that Anthony is, and a player which can really, really improve given the time. And whether he gets the time at Manchester United or not, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with him. But Amad Diallo, I'm going to give a solid 5.8. 5.8 for Amad Diallo. Casemiro's been a 3. I was going to say 2.5, but that's too low. I can't give anyone 2.5. Maybe I can with Casemiro. Because the downfall, it has been bad. And I didn't expect it, I can't lie. I mean, when Jamie Carragher was ranting about him on Monday Night Football, and people were saying Saudi's calling, MLS is calling, you know it's bad. You know it's bad, but it's right. It's true. It's facts. MLS or Saudi's calling his name, because how you go from having or being one of our most important players last season and you're scoring goals for fun, your tackling was amazing, you were a huge part for the way we play, sitting in front of a defence, crucial blocks, just all-round game was really good, to go into what we've seen in the current season that has just gone by. And he's not played a single good game this season. I know he's been playing centre-back, but I've not seen anything. Maybe it's not enough preparation in pre-season or something, because he was looking fat at the start of the season, but I don't get it. I can't tell you guys how he's gone from that to this. It's sad because he's an experienced player, he's a world-class player, and we've just not seen it, and it's a shame because now it's time for him to go, really, and we're going to see the last of him, but it is quite sad, to be honest. But yeah, Casemiro for me gets a 3 as well. I thought he's been really bad. Kobbie Mainoo, I'm going to give Kobbie Mainoo an 8.8 alongside Bruno Fernandes, because, as I mentioned earlier on, to have that pressure on you to be a star in this Manchester United team, which shouldn't be the case, he's come in and he's done himself absolutely no harm at all, is what I'm going to say. He's done himself no harm at all. He has been absolutely amazing. Like, genuinely better than anybody else thought. And everybody thought he was going to do. He has shone in this Manchester United team. You talk about the Wolves game. That was one of his biggest moments. But the FA Cup final, pressure does not get to this guy. FA Cup final, against City, bossing the likes of De Bruyne, bossing the likes of Rodri, bossing the likes of, what's his name, Foden, completed it. His composure and calmness on the ball at his age is sensational. There's no player like it. There is no player like a Kobbie Mainoo. And to be able to say I've watched him and followed his journey every game this season is something I will have the pleasure in saying. Because he's carried the likes of Casemiro. He's carried the likes of Amrabat. He's been a standout in a team that has been a mess. And that's credit to Kobbie Mainoo. Huge credit. And he's going right to the top. The Wolves goal as well. Wow. To do that in a 90th minute, when you've just been shot in the foot, conceded on the last minute, to do that and score that goal, wow, takes some doing. But yeah, I think he's got the whole future ahead of him, playing for England at the Euros, shining for England already. Man, I'm excited for Kobbie Mainoo. I'm excited for him now and his future, because he's done himself no harm this season, and he's done himself a lot better than I think even he thought he was going to do, to be honest. But that's what happens, guys. When you trust in your ability, when you trust in yourself, you get rewarded sometimes. And he's shone. And I'm happy, actually, because I'm quite happy that we actually didn't have a really good season, because it wouldn't have allowed Kobbie Mainoo to come in and be as good as he has done. And now every single person in the world knows who Kobbie Mainoo is, knows what he's about, and knows how special he is. So yeah, that's the outcome I take from the season. But yeah, I think Kobbie Mainoo, 8.8, he's been sensational. He's been amazing for us. So yeah, I think that's deserving. Scott McTominay, other than the 90th minute goals, doesn't do anything, does he? It's all well and good scoring 90th minute goals, keeping us in games. And maybe if it got us somewhere, you might be getting a better rating. But it got us 8th. And, you know, as I mentioned, he can't play the role we ask of him. And he is genuinely just a poor player. So, Scott McTominay, I'm going to give a 4 as well. And move on to the forwards now, guys. Because Forson didn't really play. Did he play? Played like 2 or 3 games, didn't he? Martial for me. Jesus. The downfall of him as well. Ballon d'Or clause. Jesus Christ. Has he even played 5 games this season? He's been injured. I don't think he has done. If he has done, let me know down below. But I don't think he has he? Nah. Has he? I'm not too sure, actually. But yeah, I won't give him a rating. Marcus Rashford, I'm going to say 4 as well. I just think it's been shocking. I thought this season was going to be the one for him. But as I mentioned earlier, his goal and assist numbers, shocking. I've been nowhere near where they need to be. We mentioned his attitude. I mean, tweeting out, going for late parties when you're meant to be at training the next day. You're meant to be a role model. And I've not remembered too many good performances on the pitch. The FA Cup final game, okay, yeah, you played well. Played really well. Maybe your best game in a United shirt. But if that's your best game, what is that saying? You played average in your best game. Other than that, I can't remember too much of Marcus Rashford this season. Because he didn't do anything. He didn't have an impact. Walking on the pitch, head down. I just think he's fallen out of love with football. He loves Manchester United, that's clear. Born here, played for the club, it's a dream for him. And I get why you're crying over that, but I just think that the criticism has got to him, maybe. And it does get to some players, it does. We've seen it with so many players. When you criticise like that, when you're coming out on Twitter as well, beefing those fans. You've seen it, I think it was a game like near the end of the season. He was like having it on with some fan in the stands while he was meant to be training for the game. Like, it's getting to him. And I get that because he's still young. Well, he's not young, is he? He's not young. I give up with Rashford now, I do. But yeah, I'm going to give him a 4. Rasmus Højlund, for first season, guys, I think Rasmus Højlund has done really, really well. And I think he's really stepped up. In the Champions League group, he was the top goal scorer in the Champions League group stage. And also, considering the circumstances and how bad we've been this season, the guy's got no service. Basically the whole season. And he's still ended up with double figures. He's not been a flop at all. And I've said it from the moment I saw him play, this guy is going to the top. This guy's got a massive future ahead of him. Physically dominant, has a lot of pace. You know, his shot is lethal as well, can score with both feet. Like, as he matures and grows up, he's only going to improve and get so much better. And he's going to be in this Manchester United team as well. So I'm very excited to see how he does next season now, having played a season in the Premier League already and getting used to it now, getting to grips with it. But considering, if you consider all the things this season, how bad we've been, the messes we've been in, things that have gone on behind the scenes, even when they mentioned about people not wanting to pass to Højlund, etc. Like, a load of garbage, man. He's put that out of his head and he said, you know what, I'm doing this for myself. And he's done really well this season. So, yeah, I'm going to give him a solid, I think a 7's fair. Yeah, I think a 7 is fair for him. Garnacho, I'm going to give a 7 points. No, I'll give him an 8. I'll give him an 8. I think Garnacho as well has been our best attacker this season by far. It hasn't been hard to be that because Antony's not done himself any favours. Of course, as I just mentioned, Rasmus Højlund, again, had a good season, but it wasn't standout season, was it? So, yeah, Garnacho arguably was our best attacker. I mean, the overhead kick goal was brilliant. But what I love about Garnacho is he's showing how much he's improving already. And I think with Garnacho, he will only get better as he gets older and matures a bit more. Because we are seeing him be greedy at times. And that's all right, because as a youngster, you want to be the show of the show. You want to get the goals. You want to get the 90th-minute goals. You want to be the star of the team. You want to be him in that moment. But sometimes you have to realise that you may need to pass that ball. You may need to make some better decisions. And I think as he gets older, as he realises maybe next season, he may realise to himself, do you know what? Last season wasn't really my best. I played really well, but I can definitely improve my game, and that's what he needs to improve on now. Just being a lot calmer in his possession and running at players as well. But I do love him because first idea is to run at players, take them on, take the shot, and that's what you need. You want something for the fans to be excited about, and that's Garnacho. So I'm very happy for him, and I think he had a really, really good season. Actually, I'm going to give him an 8.3. An 8.3 is fair for Garnacho. Antony as well, he can get with Mason Mount in the threes. Actually, no, I'm going to give Antony a 2.5. I'm going to do it. I said I wouldn't, but I just don't get how a 90 million player cannot even show the basics right, cannot even do the basics right, cannot even show you a bit of excitement on the ball, cannot even get you off your seat. A 90 million player that you trusted, that we all have massive faith in, cannot even get you off your seat. What does he offer? Left foot only, readable, one-trick pony, can't take players on, can't cross the ball, skill moves are crap. I just don't get it. I don't get what he offers to the side. And that's the thing that pisses me off and frustrates me the most, because what you're doing, at least try and improve your game. At least try and maybe use your right foot. At least try and maybe cross the ball in. At least maybe try and, you know, put yourself in better positions at times. But he just gets angry and tries to start fights. So what can you do? What can you do? Sancho, of course, didn't play. Shola didn't play, and Mason Greenwood didn't play as well. But before we go, guys, that's going to be the end of the player ratings. I hope you guys got involved as well. Cause some debates down below. You can all debate it between yourselves. I'm really interested as well to see what ratings you guys would give. Am I being harsh on some players? Should some players be higher? Let me know down below, guys, because I'm really interested and I'd love to see what you guys think. But before we go, we're going to give out 3 awards. My player of the season, Dalot. Most improved, Dalot. And player that underachieved the most, Antony. I think that's fair. Dalot had a really good season. Bruno Fernandes was a standout. Kobbie Mainoo was sensational. Other than that, it's been terrible, guys. But there we go. That's the season review. What I didn't want to do, guys, what I did not really want to do, I didn't want to really remember and go through all those games, all the bad moments we had. But we ended it with an FA Cup win. And you've got to look at the bright side sometimes. You have to look forward now, forget about that season that happened, and kick on. Whether that's with Ten Hag or not, we'll have to wait and see. But Ineos have a very, very big decision to make. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a long one. I don't normally do long videos, so I don't know how it went, guys. You have to let me know down below whether you enjoyed it or not. I hope you got through the majority of the video, especially the keep us out and the player ratings, as those are the best moments of the video in my opinion, and the more interesting, which you guys can get involved in. But other than that, guys, please make sure to smash a like on the video. And thank you guys for all your support this season. It means a lot. I mean, coming on here, having the regulars comment, all the likes down below, etc. I do appreciate it a lot. I really, really do. And thank you for all your support on the channel this season. We hope to go better, and I hope to improve so many more things for next season. But smash a like, subscribe, guys. Get in the comments. And I'll see you guys for a brighter and better season. And hopefully with Erik Ten Hag. See you later, guys.